So it's a crisis which is playing out in the state of Himachal. It's a small assembly of just 68, but this entire drama seems to be only escalating a political crisis there in Himachal. Buddha is joining me live from the BJP headquarters here in the national capital. We have Ghazali from Chandigarh, also Aishwarya Jain tracking the story from the Congress office, and Sunil Prabhu is joining us. Sunil, can the situation be salvaged for the Congress party?
Virtually impossible. There are offers that and this is what happened yesterday, that he had told the observers very categorically that he would like to offer his resignation in case the government can be saved. But as you have seen, 6 MLAs have already switched over. There is an entire faction of the Pratibha Thakur, the late Veerbhadra's family, which have actually, now revolted. It's virtually a miracle if the Congress can be able to retrieve this situation and save the last government it has in North India. It was a blip on the screen, and now the Congress party will have to take that political call. That's why they've brought in 2 veteran leaders, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, Mr. Huda, apart from Rajiv Shukla and Bhupesh Baghel, who are already there, to really try to see if they can retrieve the situation. But it seems extremely difficult at this present juncture if they are going to be able to retrieve the ground.
I'm looking at the tweet that was that has been put out by D.K. Shivkumar, Sunil, and he says that he is confident that Congress party legislators will be loyal to the party and stay put with the mandate that has been accorded to them. And then, of course, he is expressing concerns. But didn't the Congress see this coming is another question.
Of course, they saw it happening. They were warned not once, but twice. I think the Congress High Command has been really caught in a situation where it could have easily avoided. They were requested a number of times not to put a non-Himachal person. There's a history in Himachal that they haven't put for decades a non-Himachal person, and yet they insisted on going ahead with this decision. It's my way or the highway. Who are the people responsible? Mr. Karge, the Congress president, the General Secretary organization, Mr. K.C. Venugopal, Rahul Gandhi. They all 3 were on a flight back from Chhattisgarh when they were going for Mrs. Gandhi's nomination, where it was all decided. And clearly, they could have ensured that better handling took place, spoken to the MLAs, the various demands that had been made in terms of the seat sharing, in terms of cabinet berths. All this could have been organized much ahead. There was resentment from the chief minister. They all knew about it, but they couldn't have allowed the situation to go out of hand. And that's really a big crisis that has erupted for the Congress party at this present juncture.
Okay, let me bring in Ghazali as well now. Ghazali, the role of Vikramaditya Singh, son of Pratibha Singh and also of former Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh, is he the one leading this pack?
Yes, certainly, because the first person to tender his resignation, to come out in the open to speak against the government or against Mr. Sukhu was Vikramaditya Singh. Today he tendered his resignation, and then he was like that we have been dissatisfied for the last 1 year since Sukhu took over as the chief minister. The government has not been hearing the grievances of the MLAs and a host of other complaints with the Congress chief minister in the state. And perhaps the family was expecting that Pratibha Singh would be appointed as the chief minister when the Congress formed its government in Himachal Pradesh around 14 months ago. So somewhere perhaps this royal family or this very important family in Himachal's politics is sort of spearheading this entire rebellion against Mr. Sukhu. Meanwhile, the media advisor of Mr. Sukhu has categorically denied of any such reports of Mr. Sukhu having offered his resignation or even stepping down as chief minister. Perhaps the offer which has been made or has been negotiated with the High Command is that we will try to keep the flock together, and that is why Mr. D.K. Shivkumar and Mr. Bhupen Singh Huda, they both will be rushing to Chandigarh in some time and will be holding meeting even with the rebel MLAs who have been put in some undisclosed location. The ones who were here in Panchkula yesterday and cross-voted or voted in the favor of Harsh Mahajan, the BJP Rajya Sabha winner yesterday.
Okay, so what next? What is BJP's strategy? This is the home state of BJP President JP Nadda, who is at present at the BJP headquarters where the core group meeting is happening. The BJP is hoping to finalize most of its seats as the Central Election Committee meets tomorrow, and that's where Vasudha is. Vasudha, this is an important battle for the BJP. You know, they did not take even a state like Himachal for granted. They having lost it in 2022, they want to make that comeback.
Of course, Maria, that's right. And this is also the state BJP President JP Nadda comes from. And you know, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself has actually worked there in the foundational years of his politics. So this is a state that is of extreme importance. It's a small state, like you pointed out. And I was looking at the history. Thin majority governments have also managed to survive 5 years. So for a comfortable majority government that was just formed 14 months ago, this is quite unprecedented. And like both Ghazali and Sunil Prabhu were pointing out, this clearly, points to not just a self-implosion of the Congress happening, but also, some sort of, problems that maybe the central leadership did not look into when the time was right. And probably that is what the BJP is also feeling right now. I did speak to a few people and they feel that, they're all watching the situation very clearly, very carefully, and they're being very cautious about it. We saw what Veerbhadra Singh said, and after that, Anurag Thakur also came out and said that, this is because of an outsider candidate, and that is something that was time and again repeated with Abhishek Manu Singhvi's candidature. And Vikramaditya's, response to this entire resignation of his was very, in some ways poignant, because he's talking about humiliation that he faced and also other MLAs. And this is something that has been echoed by many other MLAs. And this actually puts the onus directly on the central leadership of the Congress, making them, liable to answer as to if a chosen chief minister could not keep his flock together, why were not they responding at the right time? So that is something that the Congress has to respond. Comes at a very critical time for the Congress, because it comes at a time just when we were all talking about how the party, in a little hope, had managed to stitch alliances and seat sharing arrangements with Samajwadi Party in UP and also with Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana, Gujarat and Delhi. And of course, these assembly shock defeats followed. So clearly showing, reflecting possibly, the way in which 2024 is headed. And tomorrow, with the BJP coming out with its first list, it's only going to get worse for the opposition, is what people here say.
Well, certainly, as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, they are very closely monitoring the situation of what's happening in Himachal Pradesh. And on the other side as well, it is Congress Party who has sent its observer, be it Bhupendra Hooda or be it Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar. And they had clearly attacked the Bharatiya Janata Party over the entire fiasco that has happened in the state of Himachal Pradesh. It is D.K. Shiv Kumar also in his tweet had hit out at the Bharatiya Janata Party and says that it is questionable on the part of Bharatiya Janata Party on what level and what extremes to which BJP is going in terms of acquiring power and deliberating, attempting to crush democracy and public mandate in the process. That's what the tweet has been delivered by D.K. Shiv Kumar. Of course, D.K. Shiv Kumar and Bhupendra Hooda on one side will be meeting will try to meet the rebel MLAs and the other MLAs as well. They wanted to intact the entire Congress party, which have the earlier mandate. But looking at the resignations of the Congress party and the members, the ministers in the cabinet, certainly the situation is boiling. And as it was seen earlier as well, one can say, and many senior leaders have said, that BJP never sleeps. BJP do politics and does active amount of accountability to each and every state, and that's what we have seen in Bihar as well during the entire Ayodhya consecration ceremony. It was just few days after the BJP formed its government in Bihar, and that's what happened. And therefore, the reason perhaps many are saying that the High Command of the Congress Party could have been more careful in handling the entire situation. And yesterday's Rajya Sabha election has seen it all. So certainly, it is now all which depends on these observers which have been rushed to Himachal Pradesh. Also, one very important fact that we are getting to know from our sources is that the High Command of the Congress Party, including Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, is directly in touch with the Congress President, and they are also looking at the situation of what's happening. It is to be seen now whether the Congress Party remains intact after the entire scenario which has just concluded in Himachal Pradesh or not, whether the government could be saved or not.
that may well be very late by the time DK Shiv Kumar and others arrive in Shimla. This government is on the brink, and someone who is seen as very critical in engineering everything is Harsh Mahajan. We are expecting him to join in just a bit on NDTV. But first, let me also go back to Ghazali. Ghazali, how much time does this government have? And with, Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu also offering that if it takes for his, removal for the government to be saved, that is not to be. I mean, do they really have the numbers anymore?
See, Congress is also relying on the assembly session right now, which is not proceeding due to the protest by the BJP leaders and expulsion of around 15 MLAs. So even BJP needs MLAs inside the house to go for trust vote or to go for the voice vote or voting, physical voting for the vote division on the budget session. So until that happens, even with the numbers, if it doesn't all happen inside the assembly session, we can say that the Congress government is in danger. But until the trust vote process happens, still the government is buying time. The Congress party or the government there is buying time. And perhaps that is why they are delaying the entire process. And by the time Mr. Hooda and Mr. DK Shiv Kumar reach there, perhaps the back channel talks are still open with those Congress MLAs who have turned rebel. The party is also trying to get in touch with the family of late Veerbhadra Singh, with Vikramaditya as well as Pratibha Singh. So perhaps some offers will be made when Mr. Sukhu, though his aides are claiming that he has not offered his resignation, neither is going to step down as of now. But the High Command is more interested in retaining Himachal or retaining the government in Himachal. So some alternatives will be discussed, and this is exactly what is happening right now within the Congress itself, while the BJP is trying to go for the trust vote as soon as possible.
BJP will be trying to go for the trust vote, but what happens in the assembly becomes interesting because 15 BJP MLAs in all have been suspended, which also includes the leader of opposition, Jairam Thakur, who has said that the government doesn't have the numbers. And if anything, there should be a flow test for them to prove the numbers. Let's listen in to what Jairam Thakur is saying. His soundbite is now coming.
कि बजट पारित करने के लिए कांग्रेस के पास बहुमत नहीं है और वो बहुमत साबित करने के लिए सिर्फ एक ही हथकंडा करेगी, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विधायकों को सदन से सस्पेंड करेगी। और आज सदन में आते ही पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर मिनिस्टर द्वारा प्रस्ताव मूव किया गया कि 15 विधानसभा के सदस्य जिसमें जिनके नाम पढ़े गए उनको सस्पेंड करने के लिए प्रस्ताव पारित करने के लिए वहां पर कहा गया। और ऐसी सूरत में उन्होंने वॉइस वोट के साथ उस प्रस्ताव को पारित किया और हमें मार्शल के माध्यम से बाहर जाने के लिए विवश किया। ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं, सदन के अंदर सस्पेंशन का प्रोविजन उस सूरत में होता है जब हम किसी काम में बाधा डालें, सदन के संचालन में सहयोग ना करें, उस सूरत में होता है। सदन में हम सुचारू रूप से कार्यवाही का संचालन करने के लिए तैयार थे और आज कट मोशन पर बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चर्चा होनी थी। उन सारे विषयों को लेकर के हम हाउस के अंदर आए, लेकिन हमारा सस्पेंशन अनाउंस किया गया और उस सस्पेंशन के मुताबिक हमको मार्शल के द्वारा सदन से बाहर निकाला गया है। ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। ये हिमाचल के इतिहास में नहीं, पूरे देश के इतिहास में शायद पहली बार हो रहा होगा किसी विधानसभा के अंदर, जब बजट को पारित करने के लिए विपक्ष के सदस्यों को बिना किसी कारण के, बिना किसी वजह के सस्पेंड किया जा रहा है। और जहां तक अभी आज हम इस हालात को देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमारे जो सदस्य जो बाहर गए थे वो भी वापिस आए और वापिस आने के बाद उनको लगा कि वो भी बजट में हमारा समर्थन नहीं करेंगे। उस सूरत में उन लोगों ने तय किया कि सस्पेंशन ही एकमात्र रास्ता है। मैं यही कहना चाहता हूं, सस्पेंशन उस सूरत में होता है जो विधानसभा का हमारा मंडप है, विधान मंडप जो होता है, वेल ऑफ द हाउस है, उसमें अगर हमने कुछ व्यवधान डाला होता कल, तब समझ में आता है। लेकिन जब स्पीकर साहब को मिलने के लिए कल गए, उन्हें मार्शल वहां लगा दिया गेट के पास। हमने मार्शल को हमने कहा कि हमें मिलने दीजिए, कहा कि आदेश दिया है स्पीकर साहब कि आप नहीं मिल सकते। स्पीकर को मिलने के लिए अध्यक्ष जाए, विधानसभा के सदस्य जाएं, विपक्ष के नेता जाएं और उनको रोकने के लिए मार्शल वहां पर खड़े कर दें। ये आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं कि किस तरह की परिस्थिति है। और इसलिए आज जो किया है ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, हम इसकी निंदा करते हैं। और ये सरकार सही मायने में सत्ता में रहने का अधिकार, नैतिक अधिकार ही खो चुकी है और इस सरकार को सत्ता छोड़ देनी चाहिए, यही मैं कहना चाहता हूं। और मुझे जानकारी मिली है, मुझे मालूम नहीं कितना सत्य है, हाउस के अंदर बता रहे हैं कि मुख्यमंत्री महोदय जी ने अपने त्याग पत्र की पेशकश कर दी है या हाईकमान ने मांगा, मुझे मालूम नहीं। और उस सूरत में बजट पास करने की अगर बात आएगी तो ये तो एक ऐसा अनोखा उदाहरण पूरे देश भर में होगा कि मुख्यमंत्री ने त्याग पत्र दे दिया है और बजट जो है वहाँ सदन के अंदर पारित किया जाए।
बीजेपी विधायक शायद उनकी तबीयत भी खराब हुई थी जब वहाँ पे धक्का मुक्की हुई है,
तो वहाँ चारों तरफ जो है लगभग 60-70 से भी ज्यादा, विधानसभा में 68 सदस्य हैं, लेकिन 100 के करीब वहाँ पर मार्शल भेजे गए। वहाँ सदन के अंदर हवा आना बंद हो गई और उस कारण से हमारे माननीय सदस्य की रणधीर शर्मा की तबीयत खराब हो गई और उसके बाद उनको मेडिसिन देने के बाद वो स्टेबल है। लेकिन मेरा कहने का अभिप्राय है कि ऐसी दादागिरी, इस प्रकार से लोकतंत्र की हत्या करने का किसी ने आज से पहले प्रयास नहीं किया जो वर्तमान सरकार ने किया।
जो 9 विधायक हैं, जो 6 और 3 निर्दलीय, क्या वो आपके साथ हैं, बीजेपी के साथ हैं या अभी भी वो कांग्रेस के साथ हैं?
देखिए, आप इस बात को लेकर के मैं वो भी यही कहूंगा कि उन्होंने राज्यसभा में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कैंडिडेट को समर्थन दिया है, वो हमारे साथ है। और भी बहुत सारे लोग हो सकते हैं। और आज पीडब्ल्यूडी मंत्री ने, आज कटमोशन लगे थे पीडब्ल्यूडी पर, और पीडब्ल्यूडी मंत्री ने त्याग पत्र दिया कि इस सरकार में रहने का कोई अभिप्राय नहीं है। मेरे पिता को जलील किया, मेरे पिता की भावनाओं को जलील किया और उसके बाद मुझे बार बार जलील किया। जब मंत्री ही इस प्रकार का आरोप सरकार पर लगाए तो आप इस बात को समझ सकते हैं कि क्या हालात है।
सीएम बदलने की बात चल रही है कांग्रेस के अंदर, किसी और को मुख्यमंत्री बनाया जाए तो बगावत जो है रुक सकती है।
मैं इस बात को कुछ नहीं रुकेगा, ये सरकार जानी है, आज नहीं तो कल जानी।
कितने दिन लगेंगे?
तो भाजपा की सरकार बनेगी जयराम जी फिर?
तो आगे देखेंगे, लेकिन ये सरकार नहीं होगी।
चलिए, अगर आज की बात करें